I like this because it's a bit bonkers. They look like, I don't know, it looks a bit supernatural. Anyway, here I am. It's been ages because I've been going through such extreme spaces and needed time out, and so much has happened. I don't even know where to begin. So where I am right now is I'm still waiting for a PET scan. And why do I need a PET scan? Because once you've got rid of all the bulk and you've done the chemo, and the kind of chemo that I had, smart bombing, called lipoplatin in Israel, you need to have a PET scan to find out whether the cancer's active anywhere in your body, because vaccines do not work if you're not at minimal disease. So that's that's the plan, Stan. And so I won't know if I'm at minimal disease until I've had a scan. The issue has been that I need to fundraise to pay for it privately, or try to get it on National Health. So obviously I'm trying to get it on National Health. So there's been two really shocking evolving things. First of all, I got referred to a new oncologist at Guy's Hospital, and he's fantastic. And this was via somebody I met in Israel having treatment. They have a private oncologist in the UK who supports them fully with the vaccine, and they have like pancreatic and much more intense cancer, different kind of cancer, and have been doing really well. And they recommended, their oncologist recommended this guy in Guy's Hospital. So I went to see this professor at Guy's Hospital, and we went through the background of my history, and then we got to the part about why are you choosing to go to Israel and have lipoplatin and the vaccine, having done it in detail the whole way through. And then he said, what happened? So then I explained, in 1995 I had a biopsy at Guy's Hospital. It showed I had a rare topical lichenoid reaction to my mercury and amalgam fillings. I explained about the ulcers and lesions, how it spread through my body, came up my face, and I felt my brain sticking to the side of my head, and the whole journey basically to being patch test positive, extremely rare, to where I am now, where after sort of having been passed out for 3 years in bed, pretty much, for having felt something pop in my head, and the last 7 years of having mitochondrial dysfunction. And he went, whoa. He said, listen, you're high risk at the cancer coming back, but my word, this is much worse than the cancer, isn't it? And my friend and I just couldn't believe our ears, because he totally got it. And he said, listen, they haven't looked after you, and this is seriously not good. And I can understand exactly why you're doing the kind of chemo lipoplatin, which, by the way, we have on the NHS, but not for your kind of cancer. I was like, what? Yeah, they have it on the NHS for womb cancer or something like that. So it wasn't so wild and out there. And I understand exactly why you're going for the vaccine, because honestly, given you reacted to the tamoxifen and all the problems that you've had, I agree with you. There's nothing really we can offer you on the NHS here. And I'm going to write to your GP and talk to him about a clinical immunologist, because you should have been referred to a clinical immunologist 10 years ago. He got on the phone, called to New Zealand, where he's from, to talk to the top immunologists in the world to find out someone to refer me to. So my friend Teresa burst into tears, and it was like, whoa. And he said, what's more is that I'm going to refer you to another hospital, NHS hospital, with a guy who has an interest in immunology and may be able to support you somehow, but we need to get you to see a clinical immunologist who can document what happened. You really should have held guys to account at the time, and of course, you know, I did take them to to independent review at the time, and but I really shouldn't be dealing with this on my own. So it was all very positive, and so then I did a bit of research on the internet about where I was going to this other oncologist, and find out that he actually ran a program for cancer vaccines in the UK and with children, and ran out of funds for on this charity, and couldn't do anything with adults. But anyway, it sort of gave me a bit of hope. So then I went to the new oncologist, only to find out that the NHS had a cancer vaccine program that was very successful, and they've been doing hundreds of patients. And not only that, but the European legislation, clinical standards went up, and he didn't have the funding to continue. And so they're looking at how to support me with a PET scan, but it hasn't come to fruition yet. It's taken a long time. But the thing is that they know about these vaccines, and the vaccines work. And he said he did have a concern that if I had a vaccine, I might have a reaction. And I explained that I seem to have reactions to chemicals, or, you know, sort of plastic, or things that weren't so natural. And that in Israel they didn't seem to have the same concern. But when my friend Heather asked, who came with me, what else could she do, he said, I don't know. So he said, you're in a very difficult situation, and he was going to do his best to try and support me. So then what happened was, I'm waiting for that. I met this guy at the hospital who is also a patient there, who, it turns out, he has just had a vaccine. He has a brain tumour and multiple tumours in his body, and you can have a vaccine in Germany. Apparently there's vaccines all over the world apart from England, and it's all to do with funding. It's not that they don't work. And they took part of his brain tumour and some of his own stem cells, and his tumours are disappearing. And he's absolutely outraged that people don't know about this, as am I. So, but also they've just launched a vaccine for myeloma privately, which is £80,000 in the UK. And the vaccines abroad are more in the sort of 18 to 25,000. Plus there's all the other stuff that goes with it. But you have to think about this. This is not as much as some cars to save your life. And so the more I find out, the more outraged I am becoming about it not being available and being related to, like I'm bonkers. But the thing that's really great is that, you know, he was saying he'd spoken to Israel before, and, you know, it was very expensive, and they expect you to have these drugs, which are expensive, which I definitely can't have on the NHS. But I do know they have them on the NHS, right? Because of the cost, which Israel have given to me temporarily. And he said, but I do understand why you need to take them. So the long and short of it is I've been a bit in despair, because I'm trying to share with everyone about this, and it's like I'm talking to myself, and I'm just so grateful if you share this video and share and help, you know, raise funds for me, and also to keep me going, so that I can raise awareness of these kind of treatments. But I'm just in shock that, you know, it's as if I was talking about green tea treatment or something before, and then suddenly I'm finding out that, you know, it's not so strange what I'm wanting to do. The issue for me now is I'm trying to raise the funds, and I'm sharing like crazy on Facebook, and I don't know how to grab everyone's attention, and I'm not a mother, I haven't got a baby, and if you've got a baby, you know, obviously people have more compassion, but I do need help, and I need to raise this money. I don't know what to do. And there's some fantastic people who are doing things, but it's not enough. So the problem is that I have about 6,500. We've raised 14,000 on the website, right, which is fantastic. I'm beyond grateful and blessed. The target is £100,000. It's not that I may need £100,000, but I can also, if I have a goal of £100,000, it covers everything, including things like I need this PET scan, and I may need, as I go, a few, and privately in the UK they're £2,500. So we raised 14,000. I've used 8,000 to 9,000 on lipoplatin. That's 3 cycles of chemotherapy, and oncothermia plus travel. So there's also been other money that I've had to find that hasn't come from that fund. So we're left with now 14, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, about £6,000 we've raised since, and it's fantastic. Except I need about 25 to 30,000 to begin the next phase. And once I've had the trouble is, the longer I leave it, this is my concern, the longer I leave it, the higher risk it is of coming back, which if I now have the PET scan, which is now 2 months later than I plan to have it. I plan to have it at the end of March, end of April. Oh, sorry, 6 weeks later. So I get it at the end of May, and it's become active again. I've got to go through the whole thing again and have more lipoplatin, which is another £9,000-10,000, which I don't have, and that money that was towards the vaccine isn't there. So, so the last 2 weeks, I kind of gave up. This is the truth of the matter. I've been I got a throat virus and inflammation, and psychologically I've not been in great shape. Some people that I really needed support from either haven't been there, or they've been unwilling to clear things up so I can move on, and just be kind. And it's just been beyond my understanding of how come something so small that could profoundly change and release me from emotional upset and be supportive, have not been willing. And because I haven't been well, and I've had inflammation and this infection, I couldn't get rid of it. I've had to pay a lot of money to have supplements, like infusions of vitamins to try and boost my immune system, and I'm just coming out of it now. So I've been in a really bad way. I'm feeling really in despair. And it's not because I know I'm not loved, and it's not because everyone hasn't done such amazing things and raising money. It's just I don't know how to get to the next level. I don't know how to get this out into a bigger community so that I can raise the funds. And of course it's about me trying to live, but also, you know, the only way I can see I'm going to do it is by also sharing my story, and hopefully people learning and supporting me in asking questions, and maybe we can have the money to have the vaccine over here. Why am I having to go abroad? Why did they shut it down? Why isn't it available? Why are people doing Race for Life and raising millions of pounds when it's going to one big charity? Why aren't the smaller charities being funded? I just don't understand it. It's like we're brainwashed or something. And I do understand this. I do understand that the NHS have seen, this is just from what listened to the news. I was listening to the radio the other day, and they were talking about that it wasn't to do with cancer. It was a drug that the NHS were under contract with a company for a drug that cost 10 times the amount of this other drug. So they started prescribing this other drug as their preferred drug, and the pharmaceutical company is taking them to court, the one that they had a contract that's 10 times more expensive, are taking them to court to make the NHS honour this contract. And we don't have the money in. And the pharmaceutical company, the point is, why is it 10 times more expensive in the first place? So how it occurs to me is that the money is tied up with long-term contracts and drugs, and it's very difficult for the NHS to invest in new things, and this is how it's occurring. I don't know, but this is what I'm sort of thinking I'm finding out. And all this money that's being raised for the cure of cancer, and it's not going to this charity that are developing cancer vaccines, cancervaccine.org.uk, take a look. Or going back into the NHS to fund a clinic there to continue that work. I just don't get it. People, all the money that's being spent on these drugs, what if a vaccine really works and would save billions off the bill for cancer? It's all seeming a bit bonkers. But I don't know. So I'm making this video, I don't know what to say. I have to stop trying to generate fundraising myself. It's just not cool. But if I stop, I have to trust that people around me will find a way, or come up with something. I had an idea the other day. It was like, have a night in for Lynn. Invite all your friends around, play Monopoly, and pay, a £5 to go. And, a £5 would make a difference. We've got, you can text £1. There's this if you go to kindofcancerchoices.me and you go to fundraising, there's you pay it forward. It's like pay it forward £1. And if you text £1 and ask 3 people to text £1, and they ask 3 people, within 12 days, apparently the statistics of everyone texting £1, £100,000 are done. I just want to remind you, any money that goes in, the gift aid, which is 25% on anyone's personal donation, is going to other patients, and we have raised £2,000 for other people. I'm really interested in helping others, and anything that's raised for me I don't need will go to others. It's going to Yes to Life, which is a fantastic charity which you can support, which funds people to have more choice. And I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Just thank you for supporting me. But this is really important information, and I hope it helps someone. If we can't help me, perhaps it help raise awareness and help somebody else. I'm struggling right now, and so any support you can give me, I'd be most grateful. Mr. Lucky Cat hasn't been doing well at all, so I've been dealing with that as well. He's around, he's outside in the sun, and but anyway, his face is all disappearing, so it's been really hard. Anyway, I hope to speak to you soon, and just thank you for your support.